Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Columbus. I'm the Reverend Eric Meter, the congregation's Associate Minister. Welcome to each and every one of you. We're so glad you're here. Thank you for joining us this morning. And now let's center ourselves as we join together and listen to this morning's prelude.
Good morning and welcome. Welcome everyone to our weekly online worship service. I'm Reverend Dr. Marion Stewart. It is my pleasure to serve this congregation as senior minister. We're so glad you joined us this morning, whether this is your first time or your 1,000th time. Everyone is welcome. First Unitarian Universalist Church is a place where love is at the center. If you have any questions or would like to know more about our congregation and all the wonderful opportunities to connect and engage, I ask you to please contact Kelly McNeil, our Congregational Life Coordinator. We will put her email information in the chat box to the right. You can check with her anytime. I also want to say hello to all the visitors who were with us last week and reached out to let us know that they have been tuning in. Welcome back, and thank you for reaching out. And as always, we have announcements, just a few. We will have a time for joys and sorrows later in the service. If you would like to send a joy or sorrow, we will let you know when it's time to put those in the chat box. For the past few weeks, we've offered a virtual coffee hour, and I don't know about you, but I think it's been a lot of fun. And we invite you to connect at 11 o'clock in our virtual coffee hour. We will put the link in the chat box. It will also be posted at the end of the service. If you would like to participate in our UU Cares program with regular contact for well-being checks and connection, please let Reverend Eric know or Bob Mills, and you can find more information about UU Cares on our website. We also hope that everybody has been enjoying our UU at home. We do a daily video broadcast blog. They're a lot of fun. Last week we had chickens, and who knows what we'll have next week. I think we had some pet care, lots of different things along with stories. I hope you are enjoying those. They are also posted on our website. And if you would like an email telling you that a new one has been posted, please let us know as well. And thank you for everyone who joined us last week for our community chat. We hold that each Thursday night at 7 to 8. And last week we had games night, and it was a lot of fun. We hope you can join us this week. And as you can see, going virtual is not by any means saying that we are not connected. We are totally connected. I'm so glad you're a part of our online community. Feel free at any time to put something in our chat box. And again, we will let you know when it's time to put in joys and sorrows. We will also put in information in the chat box for you. Please reach out and let us know if you need anything. We are here for you. First Unitarian Universalist Church of Columbus is here. We are here for you. And now we get to sing together. I invite you to sing this morning, Morning Has Come by Jason Shelton.
If you have a chalice or candle at home, I invite you to light it as we kindle the flame together. For our chalice lighting this morning, please join me in speaking these words by Christine Robinson. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the light we share together. Our chalice is now lit, and now Amber has a story for all of us.
Good morning. I'm your Religious Exploration Coordinator, Amber Scott. Our story this morning is called The Monkey and the Rabbit. It started out as a normal day, just like any other. Monkey was at home reading a good book when suddenly a powerful gust of wind whipped through his treehouse, knocking over the furniture and making a mess. Yikes! Even worse, when Monkey ran to check the kitchen, he discovered that the big gust of wind had blown all of his bananas out the window. Usually Monkey could scramble down the tree trunk and pick his bananas back up, no problem. But earlier in the week, he had pulled a muscle while exercising, and he was still recovering. To get his bananas back, he was going to have to ask for help. First, he asked his upstairs neighbor, the sleepy Snake, for help. "Oh, Snake, can you help me get back my bananas? I can't climb down the tree until my injury is healed." Snake yawned and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, my friend, but I don't have hands, and my mouth is far too small to carry your bananas. You'll have to ask someone else." Monkey sighed, but he knew that Snake was right. He tried hanging from the very tip of his tail, from the very lowest branch, to see if he could reach the bananas. He tried and tried, but he still couldn't reach the ground, and he still hurt too much to climb down the tree trunk. Next, Monkey asked his downstairs neighbors, the honeybees, for help. "Oh, my buzzy, busy friends, can you help me get back my bananas? I can't climb down the tree until my injury is healed." The bees smiled their honey-sweet smiles and said, "I'm sorry, my friend, but your bananas are far too heavy for us to lift. And besides, the queen is expecting us back at home for tea time. You'll have to ask someone else." Monkey knew that the honeybees were right, but by now, poor Monkey was getting very frustrated. "Oh, if only the wind hadn't come. Oh, if only I hadn't pulled a muscle and could get the bananas myself. Oh, if only my neighbors could help me. Oh, if only I had kept my bananas in a safer place and they hadn't blown out the window. Oh, oh, oh." Suddenly, Monkey stopped. He heard a sound, a happy sound, like someone humming along to their favorite song on the radio. He peeked over the railing of his treehouse and saw a very curious sight. Down on the lawn below, there was a trail of banana peels. Monkey followed the trail with his eyes, and to his surprise, at the end of the trail, there was a neighbor he had never seen before, a rabbit sitting cross-legged, eating bananas, and looking as content and peaceful as ever. Monkey paused and thought for a minute, then cleared his throat. "Excuse me, my friend, but I seem to have lost my bananas in the windstorm. I can't reach them because I pulled a muscle and haven't the strength to climb down the trunk to get them. Do you mind giving me a hand?" Rabbit opened one eye, and then the other, and chuckled when she spotted Monkey up in the treehouse. She hopped to her feet and hurried over to the tree. "Of course I'll help you. I didn't realize these were your bananas. Throw me a vine and we can hoist them up that way. Monkey lowered the vine. Rabbit looped the vine around the bananas, and heave, ho, up, 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 into the treehouse they went. Monkey finally had his bananas back. But why did he look so worried? Rabbit, my friend, how can I repay you for helping me? Rabbit just laughed her leaping laugh and smiled. I'm the one who lucked out and got to eat some of your delicious bananas. I just live a few blocks from here near the banana grove. Let me know once you're all healed up, and I'll invite you over for dinner. I'll even make banana pudding. Now Monkey was smiling too. That sounds like a great idea. I'm glad that I got to share my bananas with you, even if it was by accident. And with that, Monkey waved goodbye to his new friend, and Rabbit hopped back to her house. After all the excitement of the day, Monkey was feeling very tired. He laid down for a nap, hugging his precious bunch of bananas, and dreamed about banana pudding and friendship. The end. Think of a time that you asked for help or gave help to someone who needed it. How can we keep each other inspired and safe, even if we have to do so from a distance? Being here together is a good first step toward creating a loving community and offering each other hope and hospitality. Good morning.
Thank you, Amber. Thanks for the great story. This morning, we also will have Joys and Sorrows a little bit later in our service. We'll offer a prayer for all those in our community who are experiencing grief, loss, or moments of celebration. I invite you to use the chat box now to put in your full name and in 10 words or less, the sorrow or joy you wish to share, and then select Send to Panelists so we can share all of our joys and sorrows in a few moments. And right now, I would like for us to join together in song, Find a Stillness.
Find a stillness, hold a stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony. Seek the essence, hold the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower, watch me flower, carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony.
For our reading this morning, this is in honor of everyone who has to shelter in place. Most of us are sheltering in place at our homes, but sometimes we shelter in place in very strange places. The reading is Things to Do in the Belly of a Whale by Dan Albergati. Measure the walls, count the ribs, notch the long days. Look up for the blue sky through the spout. Make small fires with the broken hulls of fishing boats. Practice smoke signals. Call old friends and listen for echoes of distant voices. Organize your calendar. Dream of the beach. Look each way for the dim glow of light. Work on your reports. Review each of your life's 10 million choices. Endure moments of self-loathing. Find the evidence of those before you and destroy it. Try to be very quiet and listen for the sound of gears and water moving. Listen for the sound of your heart. Be thankful that you are here, swallowed with all hope, where you can rest and wait. Be nostalgic. Think of all the things you did or could have done. Remember, treading water in the center of the still of the night sea, your toes pointing again and again down, down into the black depths. And now Reverend Eric will reflect on long haul people and the arc of hope.
Hello, everyone. Even these days, there are many things in life that can be seen as both a blessing and a curse. One of the things in my life that I see only as a blessing was the literal song and dance lecture my senior year high school teacher, Mrs. Kaminsky, gave as we began studying Albert Camus' novel from World War II, The Plague. On the surface, the novel is about a terrible disease running its course through a city on the Mediterranean coast of Africa. But it's really a reflection of the survival of human decency in the face of both the absurdity of life and the evil and destruction of the Second World War. Whatever alchemy of that morning, it worked. I don't know any other way to describe it other than to say, my mind woke up. Mrs. Kaminsky's song and dance introduction to existentialism worked. I was human in a whole new way after that. I can't help now but hold that memory in stark contrast to what I heard coming out of my own mouth last Sunday afternoon when talking to our congregation's coming-of-age lead teacher, Sylvia Howe. Sylvia, I said, we haven't prepared our youth for anything like this pandemic. Of course, precious few of us of any age was prepared for COVID-19 or could be. When we began sheltering in place in response to the pandemic, I went back to Camus' book to reread it for the first time since high school. I got as far as the third page. It was just too close to home for right now. And there are other ways to look at the past to help shed light on what we're experiencing today. Because we're facing a long haul and we need to be as prepared as possible. If we look back at the pandemics of the past, plagues of old, and the Spanish flu of 1918, there are clear markers and warning signs for us today. And if you don't consider yourself much of a historian, I'll simply recommend to you David Brooks' column in the New York Times for March 12th. The challenging truth is that often pandemics have driven people apart rather than brought them closer together. When illness is rampant, people tend to isolate themselves from one another. Even those clamoring to return to work now will likely change their tune if larger outbreaks continue. Count on it. Brooks highlights one of the facets of the 1918 flu, writing, when it was over, people didn't talk about it. Roughly 675,000 Americans lost their lives to the flu, compared with 53,000 in battle during the First World War. And yet, the pandemic left almost no conscious cultural mark. no conscious cultural mark perhaps, except what the historian Dorothy Ann Pettit called a spiritual torpor. In her history of the Spanish flu in the United States, titled A Cruel Wind, after the influenza ran its course, people emerged physically and spiritually fatigued. I don't want that for me. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for us. Political historian Heather Cox Richardson, in her daily blog, Letters from an American Now, said this earlier this month: as our deaths mount, the rest of our crises have not backed off. News continues to come relentlessly of political maneuvers that seem to threaten our democracy, our society, and our planet. She continues, it is altogether reasonable to be concerned. But here's the thing, she says, being concerned is half the battle. It means you're paying attention, and that in turn means you can stand up for what you believe in. It's when no one is paying attention that we are helpless to change the course of events. It is also true that while politics, society, and the economy throughout history have always changed, our family, our friends, and our faith in democracy, religion, or whatever you believe in, those continued to abide, she concludes. Yes, there are things in life that abide. Let's focus on those for a minute. What I remember from Albert Camus' novel is that the characters that stayed in the day-to-day struggles, those that focused their attention on concrete things, people and struggles, were the ones who survived, who lived through the plague. Those who prayed to abstract gods or ideas of goodness, or ideals of goodness, were the ones who succumbed to the virus. Providing tangible help to a neighbor instead of only ruminating on the ways of goodness, for example. Now, I want to be clear that this has nothing to do with medical science. Camus never claimed to be an epidemiologist. Instead, he was making an artistic claim and perhaps even a theological one. He was claiming that it is those who keep to the tangible who will find themselves saved. And while Camus would never have used the term salvation, it is those who cling to it as an abstraction who will be lost. So let's stay in the day-to-day and not let ourselves get carried away. Because like it or not, we're in this for the long haul. And as lovely as Amber's rendition of the story she told earlier, this is going to take more than a generous bunny and a rope to get us all through this. Though we may need to receive and give ample generosity in the weeks and months ahead. The phrase "the long haul" was only an abstract phrase for me until I helped lead a trip of this congregation's youth to help in the restorations of New Orleans after Hurricanes Katrina and Rita. There we met folks who knew they were in it for the long haul. We were there to work, and work we did. This was June. Remember, this was New Orleans. The humidity was tropical. The sun intense. And when the locals saw us working, they said, "Thank you. Now slow down. Brothers and sisters, take it easy. You won't be much help if you keel over." When the going gets tough, take it one day at a time. Take care. Get your rest. Reach out for help when you need to, and keep an eye on others who might need it but be afraid to ask. That's exactly how we're going to make it through COVID-19. Recently, Michigan's Governor Gretchen Whitmer reminded us that tough times don't last, but tough people do. One day at a time, everyone. Together, we'll be tough enough and caring, loving enough to see this through. Thank you.
Find a stillness, hold a stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me.
Wow, Willow, thank you so much. Your music always just reaches to the depths of my soul. What a gift. Thank you. Thank you also, Reverend Eric, for your reflection. For me, being tough means that even though we have losses, we keep showing up. We keep on loving and we keep on expressing our gratitude. That is true in our lives, in our families, and in our church. First UU is a church that matters. It is in the foundation of our being to love, to care, and to be generous. Here we find meaning and inspiration in community, online and off. We also work for justice. We know that this world is a long way from being fair for all people. It takes all of us to make it better. Just as we benefit from our ancestors who have gone before and lift up those who will follow, we celebrate the best of who we are. We ask forgiveness when we fall short, and we recommit to living our values. We promise to take care of what we have built together, to make sure there is enough to support our vision and to help those in need. To offer our gifts and pay our promised pledges is to say to ourselves and the world that we are defined by our hearts and our deeper values. Our Share the Plate recipient for April is the Arc of Appalachia. The Arc is dedicated to saving Ohio's wild lands. Their byline is, "Every nonprofit has a niche. Ours is to buy back the land. Help us turn dollars into diversity." The Arc has recently completed 8 acquisitions, returning 524 acres back to nature. The offering that helps build a better world and a better church will now be gratefully received online. You can donate online via text, website, bank by mail, or write a check and mail it in. If you need to reduce or skip your pledge or contribution this week due to employment issues, please let us know. For everyone else, if you can, please consider increasing your contribution so that we can keep our church running and help those who need help. Thank you for your generosity.
Thank you, Nathan. The following submissions are both joys and sorrows that you typed into the chat this morning, as well as caring card requests that came in during the week. We have one caring card this morning. We send our condolences to Kara Lee, whose mother, Helen, passed away on April 20th. Helen would have been 91 on May 8th. Our thoughts are with Kara Lee and all of Helen's loved ones. Here is what you have brought forward to be shared this morning. Today is Guy and Betsy's 17th wedding anniversary. They were married by Reverend Wendy Fish at First UU. We wish Denaya a very happy birthday. She will be turning 12 on April 30th. Chris notes that isolation is hard and it's not getting any easier. Tom and Deb have found joy in a neighbor who leaves stacks of novels and jigsaw puzzles by the sidewalk, free to all. Brad writes that his wife, Tam, dislocated her rib a few weeks ago, and it still hurts. Reggie writes, joy and sorrow in the recent recalibration of my marriage. Choosing love and compassion is an amazingly humbling journey. For this strength and ability, I am grateful. Heidi, Zia, and Cooper are thankful none of their family members have gotten COVID-19 so far. Lori and Kelly are happy to announce their engagement from Athens, Ohio. Angie shares the joy that today she is celebrating a milestone birthday. Tom reflects that he has been watching The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, which in part is set inside of a whale. Kathy sends love to those across the world who have lost loved ones due to COVID-19. May they find solace in all nations joining together to conquer the devastation of this pandemic. Jay requests prayers for his wife Kelly's recovery from pneumonia and a non-COVID virus. And he is also celebrating for his advancement to the next level of chaplain residency. Much love to First UU. Kathy writes, oh, I already did that one. Chalice Choir member Antonio shares that his family's grieving the passing of their dad last Wednesday, April 22nd. And Marilyn shares that Tom is at Crown Point Nursing Care and getting a little stronger day by day. She writes, thank you to our First UU family for all your support. In the stillness of the moment to come, let us remember that the gifts of life and love are still very much with us, and that each of us still has much to give. Together, we emerge from this moment as we remember that in this tender moment, love is our guide, always shepherding us toward ways of openness and compassion.
I now invite us to sing together, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me, singing.
Our words for today's benediction come from Maureen Killoran. As we weather winds of change, may we have the wisdom to cherish moments of stillness. As we recollect times of challenge and pain, may we remember also the graceful blessings of our lives. As we look to future unknowns, may we have the boldness to trust that there is unimagined good yet to come. And now, as a symbol of our connection in shared vision as a congregation, I invite you to place your hands over your heart or virtually hold hands as we say our closing words together, with which we will extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of vision. As we go forth, let us heal and transform ourselves and our world through reason and love.
Everyone is invited to coffee hour after the service. After the postlude, you will need to leave this broadcast, grab your coffee, tea, or water, and then head back into Zoom at 11 o'clock using the coffee hour link posted in the chat. Also, the church's Discord channel is always open. Pop in anytime to see who is online and have a conversation. Or tell your church friends to meet you on Discord. Post items of note on Discord or in the church's Facebook group. Thank you for sharing. The links for coffee hour and Discord will be posted again after the postlude.
This morning, I would like to give special thanks to Willow Otten for the wonderful music and the technology that she split herself into 4 parts to bring us her just amazing version of the song. Thank you so much, Willow. I also thank our incredibly talented music staff, Brandon, Michaela, and Nathan. As always, you did a great job. We couldn't do this without our ministry team, Amber, Kelly, and Reverend Eric. Also, our tech help, which is amazing. Angela and Don, thank you so much. And now let us close our service this morning while we listen to the postlude. After the postlude, the links for coffee hour and other things will be posted on your screen. Thank you for being with us this morning. Thank you, Nathan. For coffee hour today, there are these questions to consider. How can I be generous today? What can I do for someone else today? Who do I want to be when we slowly settle into the new normal? My friends, thank you again for being with us. See you soon in coffee hour. Have a great week.